Hi guys, and welcome to your July Xerox coming back. As if you already watched the other ones, whether for your sign or you cross-watched, then you're realizing I am going back to my old system. So it's kind of like click to get your stuff done. The 12th sign, the one that had the lowest level of clicks and that had the lowest level of comments, is going to get eliminated. So I'll be reading 11 signs only. So now you guys, from the last time, you are like in the bottom quarter, and Gemini, you can do better. I'm pretty sure all you need to do is like, share, subscribe, comment, and that all kind of like adds up. So to dig yourself up, you need to work a little bit harder, and the next time is going to get better. So I am shuffling and doing everything like live because I'm just trying to save some editing time. For X-Spread, I'm not looking jumpers. I'll be looking at jumpers if you're in the top 3. So there are like lots of benefits getting a better reading and getting a top reading. This is not going to be a bad reading by any shapes or form. So just keep that in mind. Next, if you're the first time here and you don't want your ex back, this is not a reading for you. This is specifically meant for people who feel that karmic connection. There is like that elastic band that somehow pushes you back. Is that the one that got away? It's also for the people who maybe don't want to ex back, but they want to know if they're still thinking about them. And obviously there is like still that elasticity that is really happening. These cards over here are significators, and they are basically going to be the same in every reading. Some category that's going to tell you if this relationship is really ever going to get better or be a starter, what needs to be glued, significators. This can go both ways, and with the communication energy in between, because it's a general reading. Also check your ascendant and check your moon sign, because that way you can get more tidbits together, or get the full reading from me, cattarot.ca. What is the karma's take on it and the next steps? So let's check. Gemini, 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 Gemini. Okay. King of Wands. You really like, guys, sort of like pushing the limits, or you're really hoping that somebody's going to come on that white horse and declare their love. Some of you might even have more than one person in play, and it looks like the person you're inquiring has been, let's call it, equally powerful as you are. You know, you are, after all, an air sign, and very bubbly air sign. So it's very important for you to find partner with whom you can exchange ideas, where things can actually go further. But in this particular case, I really feel that it completely feels for you being out of balance. That the other person was almost like trying to outdo you, outmaster you, outtalk you, and it was like, oh, I'm exhausted. I don't really want to deal with that anymore. You were getting to that stage where, okay, I just really need to kind of like figure things out for myself. You see the 7 of Wands. Look at this dude here. He is kind of angry because he's defending himself of something that he already thought it was accomplished. So with this person, you might be going through situations where you're continuously finding that you are working through the same issues over and over and over again. This entire situation is asking for some kind of transitioning. Something has to stop. Either the way you have been communicating up to this point has to kind of like stop, or you really need to make a decision. This is my ultimate card, like in, you know, look at her, she's blindfolded. One of the 2 cards with a blindfold in the deck, and it's right next to the death card, right? So this is clearly talking about relationship, and there is like a time to take that crossroad. There is a time to go in a new direction, and you're very hesitant to do that. You're hesitant because you feel, oh my gosh, this person is my soulmate. But at the same time, you also feel there is like not enough to make this work. right? You're missing one wheel. Maybe I think it's the friendship. Maybe it's a long-term potential that seems to be problematic over here. And you're trying to struggle very much to make this work. I mean, this King of Swords could be you guys, and trying to look how can you approach the situation from a different side. Very, very important. The person you're dealing with, I don't know, it could be very ego driven. It's very important for them to kind of like feel that, you know, they're like somehow better than you are, or that you praise them. So if something like, I mean, if anything, it's kind of like very fragile ego that is going on over here. And there are like lots of people around you. Look at this, like we have three kings, we have a Queen of Pentacles. The one king that we are missing is King of Cups. Yeah, it's almost like feels like you're trying to spark this fire and the fire is not starting. This person does not want to commit, or this person is really shy, commitment phobe, because something has happened to them in the past, and you're finding this as a personal, some kind of like insult, kind of like, why are you putting me in this category? I haven't done this to you, and no, I shouldn't be paying for the sins of the other people. Why do you think I need to absorb that karma? You need to work on yourself. And then this is causing lots of arguments over here. Look at that, lots of positioning, and like no matter, like I can see this like struggle, trying to push in one direction, defend what you already had, what you feel you accomplished with the situation, but this person is continually pushing it back. And then whenever you think you're moving forward, somehow they just slip, you know, like you grab something slimy and slippery, it just like squeezes out. You're getting this Wheel of Fortune card, which came reversed, which is one of my karma cards. Interestingly, both of these cards are 10, and it's like 1 and 0, and this is like 1. So there is like a shift. There is like something that is happening. So whatever you have been thinking about this person, you'll be shifting into thinking something else. Now, there is like a big now over here. Look at that. There is a couple that is not together. There is a couple that is not together. So this dude here is like one of them who is kind of like having a half-baked plan. So caveat here is like this might continue going. Maybe you're asking about this person, and in your heart you know this goes nowhere. In your heart you kind of like feel too many people, too many problems, or even if this person is not with somebody directly, as kind of like looks like that somebody's still pulling strings behind the kind of like curtain. It could be for different reasons. Could be this is for traditional reasons, and this could mean that somebody is involved with somebody, and it could be you guys on kind of like spiritual level. What I mean by that is like you have this idea of this perfect person, and nobody measures up. Literally, sometimes people go through, like my hairdresser, through lifetime of kind of like figuring out that, well, it's not going to happen. Like my hairdresser, really, who is like 5'6", like me. He's bald, muscular. You would think it's gay. He's gay, but he's not gay. And he really feels that his perfect woman is Cindy Crawford. And that somehow she's going to meet him somewhere. That's not very realistic. Nobody's saying it's not going to happen, but I think it's highly unlikely, given that Cindy Crawford dated Richard Gere, who is not looking anything like Faroud, my hairdresser. But in his head, this is the cause of action. So somehow this kind of like reminds me a little bit here. Like we have another 10. There is like now forming a situation. This person also has to come out of their own cluelessness, and you, it almost looks like that you want all or nothing over here. You are becoming guarded, but this is also talking about the opportunities. I think it is you who is not willing to go in the next segment, and you're going between, well, this is what it was and this is what has to be. you're kind of like very clear in what kind of direction you want it to take, where do you want to go. But you have to ask yourself, and this is very air signs, something's really flip and flop, and mostly flop. When we predetermine the destiny, I want this, and I want this on my terms. I want this person who's going to love me the way I want to be loved. I want this ice cream. And meanwhile, there's like something you don't even know, something like so much greater that is going to pass you by because you're simply not able to see it by being obsessed with what you want. This is clearly telling me that actually there is like somebody brewing, that like it could be this. I mean, I see some signs. I see Sagittarius, I see Scorpio, I see Leo, but I also see Taurus, but I see water, air, and earth signs also kind of like exhibited, and then Pisces here as well. Now, this is really telling me also there's lots of jealousy. There's lots of fogginess in this particular union, and these things are going back and forth. Who have you been with? Who is this person? Who is that person? But this card is the marriage card. It's telling that, and this is like we are entering Mercury retrograde. This person is going to get some kind of like almost like rude awakening. Some kind of like shock is going to happen to them. I mean, that's going to be you. Remember how I said this is interchangeable? And it's going to be really weird. Like from what you want right now, you might be completely on the opposite side of that by the end of the month. And same thing with them. Like maybe now they don't want you whatsoever, and then they will beg you, and then you will not want it. It's going to be really strange dynamics, but ultimately you will be sitting down and talking about the nice things happening. The Hierophant is going to be interesting. Is this kind of like you guys that you'll be talking about, look, these are the rules that I want. Some of you might be even talking about marriage, and you'll say, look, I really want this family. I want kids. I want a family. I want, you know, this person to say you'll be man and wife, or wife and wife, or man and man, whatever kind of like is your thing, and kind of like going this direction. So guys, be kind of like wise about that. The Tower here is a very strong card you're getting the Sun. This is almost kind of like you can be the light. The Sun is still good even when it's reversed. It could be also kind of like issues of children in this kind of thing, but you will be feeling extremely, even in the Mercury shadow, you'll feel that strong pull toward this person. And karma is really interesting over here. It's saying that this could be a karmic soulmate, and there are some issues that still need to be resolved in this particular case. So as I said, they're going to feel some kind of like spiritual shakedown, and they're going to, I think, contact you. I really think they would. I mean, it looks like this is not over. I mean, I have to be honest, but look at it, 7, 6, 5. It's kind of like going backwards, and that's possibly a good strategy, because you have to go to the place where things worked in order to repair it and move forward. So Gemini, make sure you're checking your moon sign, you're checking your ascendant, and yeah, you know, click for vote. And if you guys really want your private reading, contact me, because that way I can really more focus on your energy. We can move in a better direction. So all the best, and hopefully next month you are not number 9. You actually get your reading much faster. And you know that I love you. It is just like, the numbers are numbers, roses are red, and I love you anyway. Bye.